So today is daily cyber number 67. I've got my Sony connector right now, so I'm able to move around, have no problems. Today's going to be a little bit of a busier day. Got about an hours of studying done, cybersecurity. Again, re-reviewing and just trying to get this down, and I've got about another 5 or 10 minutes of application security controls and techniques. I'm really trying to get this cross-site scripting done. I understand it, but I really want to get it down. So that's kind of what I'm working on this morning, and just getting things done. I got some emails I got to answer, and doing that while I'm doing my videos, so running around. So I'll keep you posted on how the day is going. I got to go run and get a shower and then to get some studying in. So right now I'm making dinner. You can see me here. It's probably better. This is the one reason why I put on the Sony microphone, so you can hear me a little bit better as I'm going about my day-to-day actions and kind of the things I'm doing. It's hard because, you know, it seems like, I don't know if there's something going on kind of energetically or whatever, but it just seems like so much is happening right now, right? All these challenges. I found out today that my second car that we had has rust all through the frame. So now that car, potentially it's a 2003 Honda Civic, that one now is potentially now a write-off because it's probably not going to be fixable. Right? So now the question is, now what do you do, right? So I've had my Honda Accord, the fuel lines, the brake lines, the power steering lines all went down. All eroded, and it was a 2001, so I mean it did its job. It's lasted numerous amount of years. Now the Honda Civic that we had, which was the back, like our second car, that one went down as well. So it's like, wow, you know, and you look at kind of an evaluation when you're looking at, say, cybersecurity, kind of doing a risk analysis, you know, quantitative, qualitative, which is kind of cool because, like I said, as I'm learning this, all this stuff is starting to come to fruition of how to implement them and how to use them in kind of your day-to-day life. And what I'm finding is, you know, there's quantitative where you use numbers. You know, how much does a new car cost? Do I have to lease one? Do I have to rent one? You know, is it worth it? Should I get a used one? So you kind of go through all those numbers, and then what happens is on top of that, what you do is then you look at, you know, lease, do you finance, you know, do all those great things, and then, you know, you look at the qualitative. You know, how's it going to feel to get a new car? You know, I feel bad about losing my old car, you know, and, you know, what's going to happen? So all these things that are going through my mind as I'm starting to learn cybersecurity, you can kind of see how it applies to a lot of your life and what you're doing, as long as you know how to use it and implement it. And we're talking about cybersecurity, we're not talking about technology and things like that, but there's no difference from when you're using, like, your day-to-day activities, day-to-day things. You always want to kind of assess properly. And then one thing I'm looking at, you know, I've looked at a few new cars over the last probably week. And one thing you have to do is you have to do like a risk analysis. You have to do an assessment of it. And as I'm going through this, I'm talking to my girlfriend, and we're talking about, like, okay, but why? Why would you go and get someone to assess the car? Why would you do this? And the reason, you know, why would you get a proper mechanic to assess the car before you purchase it? You know, why would you do all those things? Why would you, if you're getting it from a dealer, why would you not just trust that dealer? And I said, you know what? It's not the point of it not trust. It's, you know, doing the proper, you know, risk analysis, right? Doing a proper assessment. You know, when you do an assessment, like you do a third party or an outsource assessment of someone that has no investment into the car itself, you're going to get a better evaluation. And it's like you see with a lot of companies, how they have outside contractors do evaluations to get a real true assessment of what's going on with their business, right? And you're talking about with security, same thing, no difference. These guys, outside companies, maybe do penetration testing. And the reason why they do that is because they want an outside perspective of someone that maybe didn't set up the system, didn't have ownership of it, and maybe is not emotionally invested. So they might have a better quantitative versus better qualitative assessment, because what happens is their emotions are not involved in the actual environment itself or the people. They just test the environment, right? You know, when you look at pen testing, you look at maybe they will compromise someone within the scope of compromising them, right? And not, feel bad that, oh, they got the password of Joan, the secretary, and feel bad about it because they, if you work there and you know Joan and you really don't want to do it because she's going to feel bad about it and so forth. But if you're an outside consultant, you're not trying to harm her, you're not trying to do her ill will, but you're trying to see where the vulnerabilities are, right? Where you can be compromised. And for example, when you look at a car, the reason why you do an evaluation is where could you be compromised? Is it in the deal itself? Is it the cost? Is it the insurance? Do they charge too much for warranties? Where could you be compromised? To be, as we call it, hacked or taken advantage of, right? And that's what you got to look at. Is right now is, I don't like that one. That's what you have to look at right now is, when you're doing these evaluations and these assessments is where exactly, can you be compromised? So you take your time. And one of the things I recommend and I talk about is that when you feel you're getting rushed, go slower, slow down, take your time, right? Because that's when you make mistakes, is when you feel rushed and you start to push yourself and you start to go too quickly. That's when the times when you don't step back, evaluate, assess the things that are going on, or don't even catch red flags that come up. I know there was one dealer that we were talking to, made a few comments that I know because I've been in auto mechanics when I was in high school, that didn't sit right with me. And I was like, okay, hold on a second here. What's going on? Is this a sales tactic? Or, are they looking for us to get our car serviced by them constantly? Like, why are they saying these things? And then as the conversation kept continuing further and further, I started to hear more and more red flags that didn't make me feel comfortable to do business with them, so we kind of stepped away. So these are the things you have to look for, and if you can properly assess, we get this through email, right? I know you and I do that. You get through email and you get people saying, oh, hey, by the way, I have a business opportunity, I may have a deal for you, or maybe I want to, get you to take a look at something and it's a link that you don't know about. So all these things that can come up that we can get compromised because maybe you're not paying attention. You're busy, your meetings, you're jumping back and forth. Maybe you're checking your iPhone just quickly or your smartphone. You're checking for, maybe an email, and you go through it and by accident you click on a link that maybe you didn't know, you weren't sure of. And sure enough, that link is some malware or virus, right? And now it compromises your phone, it compromises your computer, whatever that may be. And you might have spyware, you might have a virus on there. So all these scary things can happen if you're not paying attention. And that's why I'm always very careful to talk to people because I understand, we all make mistakes, we all click on things. I almost clicked on a link today, right? There's someone asked me to review their blog post. And what I did was I clicked on the link and I was like, oh, I clicked on the link slightly and highlighted it. And as I was doing it, because I wasn't paying attention, because all this stuff was going on, I clicked on it, highlight it, but it didn't open up. And I was like, oh. And then I copied it, put it into a Word document, made sure there was no, it wasn't hyperlinked, there wasn't a link, and then the hyperlink was some code. So I actually dissected it and then found out it was truly the website and so forth. So I was fine, but I could have compromised myself not paying attention. So, things like that we have to be very mindful of. So that's what's going on with me today, what's happening, especially in the cybersecurity world, as I can tell you how it relates to day-to-day and what we're working on, what we're doing. So that's my day 67, cooking dinner, talking a little bit about cybersecurity and what's going on, and how I implement it day-to-day and how I think about it day-to-day. And I think more people need to think about it. I was at a store the other day, and we were just talking about compromises, and you could see the people in the store that I was talking to kind of was like, oh my God, I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know people could do that. And the more we're aware, the more, and almost think of self-defense, the more aware of the situation, the more we can protect ourselves against things that might happen. And it's not at the point where you're always in a fear state, where you're sitting there kind of going, oh my God, I have to be aware, I have to watch out and have to do that. No, it's always the point where you kind of go, okay, I see that's happening, I'm not going to do it, and you kind of move away from it. Right? I'm not going to click on that link. I'm not going to click on an email. I'm not going to respond back. Maybe there's a tweet or a post. Someone sends you. You're going to ignore it because you don't know the person. Even talking about that, I get constantly, and I'm sure you do too, we get social media requests, right? Maybe someone asking you to add them on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you don't know the contact. So some of the things that I do before I even accept them as a friend or as a connection on LinkedIn is what I do is I send them a message first. Hey, John Doe, thank you so much for your connection or your friend request. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how can I help you? And then what happens, I wait to see if they respond back. And I'll tell you, I would say 95% of the people that I send a message to don't respond back. So you can already tell there's something else going on there. There could be valid people and they're just looking to do sales and promotion, all that, and they're just, pitching and selling and hoping they can catch you. Or maybe it's a scam or whatever that may be. But at least I do that filter first to see who they are. All right, so I'm just going to keep going. I got to cook dinner, make some dinner for tonight. It's my dinner night. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm doing. That's how my cybersecurity day has been. It's been a crazy, crazy day. Let me know how your day is. Let me know what you're working on, what you're going through. I really like to hear kind of your journey, what you're up to. Comment below. So I'm going to take off. I think, look at the time. I think this is going to be my last video for today. I got a meeting tonight. I got a meeting tonight around 7 to 8, and then I'm going to be shutting down. So just don't forget, software is hackable, being connected is vulnerable. I'll see you next video.